tell me, do you believe in God?
So the short answer is yes. I guess because of my upbringing, which was non-religious and almost positively atheist, I would say, in some ways, and just the kind of the environment I've grown up in, it's quite a loaded term.
Yes, it is a loaded term.
It is a loaded term.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, including myself, it had a lot of connotations, some of which would conjure up control, organized religion, sometimes often doing a great job, often not doing such a good job as well. So yes, I do believe in God. I see it more as an energy.
Love that.
Yeah, I think for now, I'm exploring and I'm always open-minded. But the short answer is yes.
Okay, and so when did you first come to that short answer of yes?
First time was when I was 19, 20. I was at art school in Cornwall, which is a really beautiful peninsula in the southwest of England, surrounded by the Atlantic to the north and the Channel to the south, and lots of free-spirited, open-minded people end up in this sock of England. It's a beautiful spot.
I love that.
And some radical thinkers and alternative thinkers, and a space where you can start to explore what you think and how you feel about certain things.
Whoa, a safe space.
A safe space for sure, generally speaking. And Watford is essentially suburban London. It's a town on the edge. And with that comes lots of beautiful things. I would say a leaning towards more conventional thinking. And actually conventional thinking in the UK is being atheist. For sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is I was down in Cornwall, learning to surf, being in nature for the first time for a kind of continued period of time. And I definitely had a spiritual awakening, as they say, as they like to say in the business.
That's great.
As they like to say. Yeah. But it did feel a little bit like I wasn't particularly grounded, and it felt a little bit floaty and a little bit unsettling, actually. And I think, yeah.
What happened?
I'd come out of a kind of darker spot. So I'd gone to Cornwall. I'd been traveling around the world for 7 months.
Whoa,
and,
okay. 19.
19. It was solo traveling most of that, and
nice.
A beautiful experience. Expanded my horizons. Gave me the flavor of what is out there. All these different beautiful beings, different ways of thinking, different ways of living. And then went to Cornwall, which was amazing. But then it got, the whole sort of, we have university freshers week, we call it. I mean, you just basically get hammered and you drink a lot and party. And then I was doing that a lot, and then you're like, okay, this is kind of grinding me down, but this is the status quo and what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
And then I was getting a little bit ground down. Mood was probably not where it should have been, or where I would have liked to have been, should I say.
Yeah.
And then kind of pulled out of that lull, if you like.
Yeah.
And went into really found a spiritual sense of who I am, and felt very connected to something that was greater than myself, right? You have that inner knowing that you're not alone, and that the synchronicities and the powers that be, if you like, nature, chi, life force, God is present. But I wasn't really in an environment where people again were believing that. And I think it was, for myself and my friends, it more looked like I was sort of having a mini breakdown.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Right.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, kind of going from a low, and everyone was used to me being low because I'd been
Yeah.
this was a new environment at university. So, you take what you see from a person. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I wasn't in a good place.
Yeah.
And then I kind of raised a bit. I would say I was joyful and kind of, this is amazing, and life and excited and
Yeah.
healthy, and kind of jubilant. But I think it was a juxtapose. It was a slight contradiction to the person that I had been before.
Yes.
So that was the first time.
Satori.
Yeah, the first Satori. But then I let go. I was like, I felt like I was going a bit mad. I felt like I wasn't grounded anyway. So it was a bit too much that first time round.
Where you were feeling this sense of infiniteness, and
I felt really.
It almost felt like it was too much.
It was too much.
Whoa.
It was too much energy, too much
Wow.
boundlessness, too much dissipation between myself and everything else. I didn't need anything. I didn't want any belongings. I wanted to just either travel with nothing or...
Incredible.
Yeah.
People would call this a hippie.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, come on.
I don't know what other term they would use. Don't be a hippie.
I would say guilt is charged. Guilt is charged. But this is a bit. It's an odd behaviour from a boy from Watford. Watford is a working class town, and it's steeped in excessive drinking and violence, and it's a beautiful place with a good mix of people, but it's quite tough. You definitely don't really get hippies from Watford. You get fighters. You get Anthony Joshua, the one of the heavyweight champions of the world. It's a tough place for sure.
Yeah.
I had good parents, so I just about kept on the rails, but I was close, like quite a lot of the time.
Got it. Yeah, close. On the knife's edge.
A little bit.
So what was the catalyst, though, that brought you to this place at 19 where you're like, whoa, and you're in this infinite space? Was there a catalyst of some sort, like a book or something you saw or someone you talked to?
It was love.
Love?
It was love.
Did you have a relationship?
Yeah, it was love had sparked it.
Wow.
It was love with a really beautiful soul woman who was connected with nature and animals.
Oh, wow.
And she showed me she wasn't religious. She came from a Catholic background, but she was inherently Catholic, as Catholic people often would describe themselves, culturally Catholic, I would say.
Oh wow, yeah.
And falling in love with her and her very alternative. It wasn't a conscious thing, but I think it allowed me to explore and express a certain side of myself. And then the feeling of, it was my first love. So that deep love.
Wow, your heart just like...
My heart was open. So then it was open to everything. Source, God, whatever you might call it. I then became very connected with that and very connected with her at the same time.
Wow. And then your friends are all like, man, this guy's insane.
A little bit. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them
either.
I mean, maybe I am a little bit insane, but I think we all are, right?
Yeah,
we all are.
Yeah. So this is wonderful. By the way, have some tea. It's like a perfect temperature.
Thank you. Beautiful.
So, 19, in this relationship, heart opens. Wow, and then there's almost this sense of, I don't know, this is a bit too much maybe at this time in my life. So where do you go from there? Do you kind of just...
I went into a deep depression and put on, something like 60 pounds or something.
Damn.
And put on a load of weight, got really fat.
Wow.
Really low self-esteem. And I was embarrassed by...
Why did that happen?
I was embarrassed by how I felt and how I was expressing myself.
Wow.
And even though looking back, I was worried at the time. Was it a mania? Was I manic, or was that some kind of psychosis? That was what I was. I felt like, we're not mind readers, but you feel like that might have been a judgment. But I know that it wasn't, but at the time, it certainly felt. It certainly that's the only way I could rationalize what I'd gone through. It was some short period of insanity. Basically, that's how I felt.
Wow.
So then it was shame, and
that's incredible.
Yeah.
In reference to your heart opening and this beautiful experience, which is just not necessarily understood because maybe you don't have other people around you to make you feel like, oh, this is wonderful. Like, instead you're just like isolated maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think there's no blame on the people around me because I think I wasn't grounded at the same time. And that's the important thing. I think if you're going on that spiritual journey and you're open to the energies that are beyond us, that can be really exciting.
Yeah.
And it can be quite life-changing because if you're not ready for it, you will think that everything is kind of pointless, but beautiful, but pointless.
Wow. It's a really good call out.